Okay, hey guys, good morning. Saturday here at Wuxia Martial Arts. Welcome to our Wing Tsun weekly video. We're going to be taking a look today specifically at some linear kick defense. We'll be going through our kick defense series over the next couple of weeks, talking about the difference between three different levels. So when we think about them, all right, I want you to think if you're breaking the body, we say 3-level defense pertains to the hands, right? So from like your collarbones up is going to be anything that's coming high level, anything that's from your collarbones to about your navel or this torso area is going to be mid-level, and then anything from like your belly button down to the bottom of your groin is going to be like low level, right? But then later we also talk about, you know, where the hands can't reach because we don't want to be reaching for kicks. That's how you get knocked out. But the idea that, you know, in Wing Tsun we have a saying, we say that the legs will take care of the legs, right? So if any kick is coming, right, to the legs, that usually we have some different ways that we can deal with it. Using the legs, kind of similar to you know, a lot of kickboxing, but a little bit different as well. And depending on close range, long range, and those things. All right, so we're going to be starting with linear defense first, and for the sake of this first video, we'll be talking more about linear kicking that is coming like to the torso. So this would be like somebody that's here kicking into the body, or here kicking into the body, so typically here. All right, so we've got a couple of ways that we can look at it. Now, we'll look at two different options. One is in Sifu. In Sifu, we get introduced into the splitting hand, the gundar, right? So anything coming this low level, right, from here, the gundar is a great option for us to be able to, like, you know, use this. So not only to hit him, because we don't want to be like karate where we're trying to block, right? But this comes out is more for like striking, all right? And secondly, it's used to wedge out. So we talk about the wedge line, right? That wedge line also comes down here as well, all right? So the first one that we take a look at, right, is from here, I go good character 2, and I go man-sao, Wuxia, like this, I line it, right? I'm gonna take a small tumbo, so I go like that, and I punch. Now, the nice thing is it doesn't matter if this guy is kicking like his back foot, his front foot, it's a side kick, it doesn't matter. Anything that's linear and that's coming straight here, this is what we're going to use, right? So from here, the first thing is I'm trying to get off the center a little bit, right? To alleviate that. And then second is this is going to wedge out as I come in and punch at the same time. So I take over the center line, right? So from here, right, we step, tumbo, chinbo, and I go here, right? It's simultaneous. So 1, 2, and this should be from here, dropping straight down, like that, with a little bit of power, yeah? So here, now tumbo doesn't have to be too big. I don't want to be way over here, right? Later we'll talk about using that more for like side kicks and stuff like that, but for now, if he's coming straight, I just need to get a little bit off of the line, and then I go here, like this, and the other side. So here, tumbo, chinbo, like that. And I slide back. Tumbo, chinbo, and back. So this is option 1, all right? Using the tumbo into the chinbo, that's first, and then using the gundar simultaneous. So 1, 2. This is option 1. All right, we talk about this one using Sifu applications, right, coming right from the beginning of the form here. Now, for our second one, let's take a look at Chung Q. Now, in Chung Q has a lot of kicking. It introduces us into 3 different kicking methodologies. The front thrust kick, we have the side thrust, and then we have the turning kick this way, right? So when we look at that, we also have a lot of variation within our stance work. So we have a lot of turning, right? We have a lot of stepping and turning. One particular piece that I like a lot, actually is my favorite, against a straight line kick coming into the torso, right, is from here at the end of Chung Q, right, when we're here, do the turning kick, and then we go this way, like that. We get off of the center line here, like that, and then we come back in and punch. All right, so I like this one a lot, but for me here at Wuxia, I adapted a little bit, right? I like to be able to step back with it. So from here, I could just turn and get off the center line, but if the guy is coming very hard, it's kind of a force on force thing, and that's not what I'm looking to do, right? So when I'm here, I'll step back a little bit. So you see, from here, this foot takes a step back, and then I turn. So not only am I getting off of the center line with the turn, but I'm also taking some of the heat off of that kick, right? If I stay here and the guy's kicking hard up into my hand, I mean, that's gonna jack up your shoulder and everything. So from here, I step back, and then I go with the gum. All right, now the gum style is my pinning hand. That means I'm trying to press it down, right? So when this guy is coming in to kick, right, first I get out of the range, right? I don't want to be taking the kick full on, and I definitely don't want to be trying to like just turn and do that, because maybe the guy kicks and then he's like throwing some punches as well. So the first thing is I go from character 2, and I have the right Mansa, all right, and left Wuxia. So I'm gonna step back with my right foot, and then I slide. See that foot slides with me a little bit? So I go from here and I go 1, 2, like this. And now I'm gonna step opposite. I wanna punch off the backhand, and I'm gonna step, right, with this foot. So I can get a lot of knockout power. 2, 3. And when you do this, I don't wanna see like, you know, just throwing some random kind of patty cake chain punches. This should be that when I go, boom, like that, and I step in, like it should be power, 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 and you're stepping through this guy, right? These should be knockout punches, right? Anywhere on the dermatome here, right? And anywhere going into the side of the neck. Those are all really bad areas for your opponent, yeah? So from here, Mansa Wuxia, I step back, right? And I use the gum style. Now from here, I step, right? And I punch opposite, and then like that. And you can see my body continues to go forward as I'm punching, so that I can get a power, right, coming from my back leg to add into the punch. So it's not just my arm that's punching, it's my whole body punching at the same time. So from here, right, we step back, like that, and I get a gum. Now from here, I step 1, 2, 3, like that, and I continue to step in. So let's look at that one more time, ready? I step back, and I drag the foot with me. You see this position is the same as our Chung Q, right? When we're switching like this, it's the same position, right? And now I step in. Now, one variation you can do, right? If you wanted to work on speed, I always like to use power. I believe that if, you know, you're in a real situation, speed is very good. It's good to be able to touch the guy very quickly if you're gonna clinch and you're gonna do some of those things. So, but power, if you're punching, it's good to be able to punch off your backhand and really get some speed and power into that. So when I go here, right, I like to do this, right? But also, you can play around with the idea that I go back this way, and then I step in with the same side, which is just like in Chung Q. 1, 2. Now, this one is typically like, you know, the guy's gonna try to knee you or something, and you go, and then you punch him right away. So for me, I find it's a shorter range, but you can play with the speed of it as well. You could go 1, and then just go and punch in. You'll feel it doesn't have the same effect. It doesn't have a lot of power, like punching off of the backhand, right? When I go here, I can punch the power off the backhand. Or you could just go for the quick touch where you go bang, and try to get some power from this one, and then go in. The option is really yours. I mean, it's more of a preference thing, what you want to do. But yeah, that is the idea, right? So, so from here, right, now we try the other side. I step back to the left, right, and I drag that foot with me, so I end up in the gum style position right here. And now, right from here, I'm going to take my backhand, the one that is in Wuxia, and I step forward, and I throw some punches, yeah? So again, left Mansa is forward. I step back and off of the center line when that kick comes straight, right? And now from here, punch with the backhand, and I step with the front foot. Same thing, I could go for the speed, right? So I go step back here, and now the whole side of my body goes forward. So left and left, I get that speed. Just like in Chung Q when we go like that. Boom, boom. And one more time, so step back here, right? And then forward. All right, so these two drills for the body are very, very good. They're very easy. You know, this is something that we typically teach our beginners here, but like around student grade 1, 2, 3, 4, is a good time for us to start introducing these concepts out. This one, stepping back, is nice, but it's more like after they have the Chung Q and they can understand these motions from the Chung Q. So at home, if you don't have Chung Q yet, it's okay. I mean, you could try to work this thing out a little bit, but once you do have the Chung Q, it'll make a lot more sense. And for those of you that do have Chung Q, and you're used to doing all of this anyway, you can get a little more comfortable and try to add some of that like speed and power like that. All right, so let's just review real quick, right? So our first option, whether the kick is the back kick, front kick, side kick, doesn't really matter. Anything that's coming straight, sometimes I may be on the outside, sometimes I may be on the inside, but I'm gonna chop his leg, right? So I go here, and I use the splitting hand, the gundar, and I punch off the backhand, just like that. Here, so option this. Okay, one more time, here, like that. Now, when I do this also here, this should drop straight, so down, like that, straight down, okay? Option 2, all right, from here, same thing, stepping back, all right, getting off the line of attack, and now I go. So the difference here is the first one, right? Some people argue, they'll say like, oh, well, the first one is actual like simultaneous attack and defense, whereas the second one, you know, you're blocking first and then you're going in. I would say those people haven't either been in a lot of fights or they just haven't sparred a lot because, you know, if your mind is that limited to understanding Wing Chun, you know, I would say that you just don't have a lot of fighting experience. So, you know, people who spar a lot or people who have been in some altercations, military or law enforcement, you know, some of these guys know that, you know, typically like punches and kicks are going to happen, you know, in bunches. It's not just going to be like this guy throwing one thing and you're able to like just do that. It's good. You can try to get the jump on it if you are like playing around and, you know, the guy's here and he just like maybe threw out like a feeler kick or something and he wasn't fully committed to a combo. You know, if he's just throwing out like a feeler kick like that to just try to see what you're going to do, like in karate or even in our Wing Chun, we use this, or in Muay Thai, like they'll be here and they'll throw like this teep kick just to kind of see where you're at. Yeah, I think that's great that you can go and hit this guy simultaneous and get in and enter. But I mean, you know, if you're really sparring and you have one of these guys who's going to like kick and start to do like a bunch of combos, I mean, maybe you get him on the first one, you know, but maybe this guy's still throwing combos. So yeah, I mean, you might be able to like continue with chain punches, but you know, it puts you in that what if land of maybe my Wing Chun is like really this good against this guy's martial art is really that good as well. So that's why for me, the second option is a really great option because even if the guy is very fast and he's gonna like kick and come in and throw some punches, when I do this and I step back, 1, I'm out of range, right? 2, I'm off the center line. Right, it's hard for him to be able to throw this and then like, you know, throw some hooks because I'm out of range like that. And the other thing is when you tag this guy's leg, right, with the gum and you throw some power on that thing, typically, remember this is the pinning hand. So when you pin this down, typically the power is going to make this guy come forward a little bit like that. So when I go like that, right, it makes him come forward a little bit and root in. Then it's safe for me to be able to go in and start to throw some punches, you know. Even the guy threw this, you know, like in karate, they may be here and they go straight, right? Even I'm here and I'm off the line this way, like that, here, right? It doesn't matter if the punches are coming straight to my face because I'm no longer there and I have the nice angle to go in and attack, right? So those two defenses both have some merit. But I would say play around with, you know, with all 3 options, right? So this one, simultaneous, if you get somebody that's just kind of throwing out a lazy kick to kind of see where you're at, they might be trying to set you up with something, you know, or you get some idiot, you know, on the street that doesn't really know and tries to kick or do something. And those guys, you should just be like eating up with this thing right away, you know? In a sparring situation, somebody is a little bit more agile, right? And they know how to like get in and out and do all that. Those guys, you probably don't want to be playing around with self-defense stuff. This, you want to get out of the way and then be able to go back in. So you're out, you're in, you're switching, you know, you're doing all the locks out footwork, and that's why the Chum Q is nice, because the Chum Q gives us some different options of ways we can move, you know, and different things that we can do, you know, which doesn't, you know, when we say go forward in Wing Chun, it doesn't necessarily mean like only go forward all of the time. I mean, that doesn't make a lot of sense to somebody with fight experience. So yeah, sometimes you're going to be in when the path is clear, you're going forward, but yeah, if things get hairy, yeah, of course there's going to be times you have to back up, you know, and then go in and try to go in again. So yeah, all right, so those are some options, you know, going back, punching off the backhand, going back, punching off the front hand, self-defense, right? Going in with the gun guard, right, like that. Here, pongo, boom. So those give you some nice options that you can train for the linear kick defense going to the torso, right around here. Later we start to talk about like if it starts to rise up, what are some things that we can do? If it starts to go low, what are some things that we can do? But we'll cover that next week, low level and high level. So for this week, I'd like to just try to work on these. We do have some other mid-level stuff, but a little bit higher level guys will be working that material. But for the beginners, and I'd say anybody really up to like student grade 10, 12, these are two really solid techniques. Remember, when it comes to fighting and defending yourself in sparring, it's not the amount of material that you have, it's that you have a couple of like really solid techniques that you can do, and you do them well. You know, it's like Bruce Lee said, don't fear the man who knows 1,000 kicks, right? Like fear the man who knows one kick and he does it 1,000 times, and he's really, really good at it. And that's the idea. So you have here, defend, and attack. Right? You have here, boom, stepping in, and then you have here, stepping in with the front hand. Boom, boom, boom. All right, so some Sunum Tao and Chum Q options for you to deal with the linear kick defense. All right, guys, have a good week, good training, and we'll catch up with you next time. Sifu Scott Tarbell, Wuxia martial arts. All right, hope you enjoyed your week. Take care.